on? Welcome to the show, everybody. Listen, guys, a lot of off-season stuff's happening. The draft is about a month away, give or take, right? 30 days away or so. But a lot of our draft plans for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I say our as if I'm part of the organization. I'm not. I'm just a fan, okay? A lot of what the Eagles' plans are for this upcoming draft is predicated on the big, broad shoulders of one player, and that's Jordan Davis. I know that sounds weird because Jordan Davis is not necessarily somebody you look at and think to yourself like, wow, he could be the linchpin to what makes this whole thing work or not. Usually you think of that Jalen Carter, Zack Baun, you think of Cooper, you think of Quinyon, right? But Jordan Davis is the key. And how you orchestrate and construct his contract is key. You see the market in free agency this offseason with the defensive line. The amount of dollars that gets spent on getting edge players, getting defensive tackles, getting defensive linemen that are quality is very, very high end. Jordan Davis for the Philadelphia Eagles is not necessarily somebody you look at by the stats and say, wow, you know, he just has these off the chart numbers and we need to pay him for the sack total and the tackles, right? Because if you look at his numbers at nose and as a rotational piece, he had 27 tackles and 1 sack. Not necessarily knocking your socks off in terms of what a defensive lineman will bring. But again, when you're playing defensive tackle, particularly with the Philadelphia Eagles, I know we've been spoiled with players like Jalen Carter and Javon Hargrave and Fletcher Cox who get these big sack totals. And what we've seen with Aaron Donald in the past and what Chris Jones does, right? Like normally defensive tackles do not get big sack numbers, okay? It's why guys like Warren Sapp back in the day, who has, I believe, 96 sacks at defensive tackle, is an absurd number. It's one of the most ridiculous stats out there. Same with a guy like Aaron Donald, right? It's why those guys are special. Jordan Davis is not a sack specialist. That's not his game. We all know this as Eagle fans. His value comes stopping the run and making sure teams have to operate in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and longs. And when Philadelphia was able to do that, as they've done this past season, you didn't see a lot of Jordan Davis in 3rd down. You didn't see him in a lot of pass rushing moments. That's because he played the run so damn well. With Jordan Davis, it's ironic and it's going to sound kind of weird. And again, not necessarily my thought. I've heard this on other shows and I've heard this on, and you notice this when Philadelphia is playing games, but you highlight this and it makes so much more sense now. When Jordan Davis is not on the field, you know he's playing well. Bottom line. I know intuitive, it does not make sense. It's counterintuitive. But when he's not on the field, Philadelphia and Jordan Davis in particular are playing extremely well. 100%. It's why Philadelphia must sign Jordan Davis. They have to. That is the one player this offseason you must lock up. You have to get Jordan Davis on the team with a contract over the course of the next 3 to 4 years. You must. If that's one thing Howie Roseman must do before the draft, it's that. Forget Justin Simmons. Forget getting a safety. Forget getting a cornerback. You must sign Jordan Davis. And we're going to get into the reasons why in just a moment. But before we do that, I introduce you to the show because this is the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. I am your host, Asif Badi. And like you, I am a Birds fan who talks about the Birds, only the Birds and nothing but the Philadelphia Eagles. So with that, can you please help us grow the channel organically by shooting this video a thumbs up, hitting the subscribe button, and commenting your thoughts in the comment section below, because it'll help me get out to as many Eagle fans out there on the World Wide Web. We also have audio platforms such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so check us out there and leave us a 5-star review, because in the end, it doesn't cost you a damn thing, and you and me like free stuff, and you like to be a good person. So hit the subscribe button, leave a review. We thank you for your overall support. And again, like I said before, guys, Jordan Davis, when he's not on the field, he's playing well. Because if you think about it, if you're playing defense in the NFL and you get a team and you're able to stop their opposing running attack, you make a team one-dimensional and you force them to pass the football. What is Philadelphia's best package in terms of personnel on the defensive side of the ball? And again, I know this is a skewed question because we lost Josh Sweat and Milton Williams and other players like that with Darius Slay and such. But last season, our best personnel was our nickel package. That was our best personnel. When we played nickel, we were the best defense in all of football, with Cooper in the slot, Quinyon, Darius, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, right? Like, that was the best personnel. And we saw it evident in the Super Bowl, where we said, hey, if you could stop the Chiefs' running game and get them off schedule, and you force them to throw the ball more than 30 to 40 times in that game, you were going to win, and win handily. And that's exactly what happened. Jordan Davis, towards the back end of the season, wasn't playing a whole lot of football. And that just means whenever he was on the field, on first and second down, because he's not a 3-down player. That's not what you're paying him to do. But when he was on the field, the opposing team's rushing attack was slowed down, if not stopped. And that's a key thing in this Vic Fangio defense. Yes, you must have Jalen Carter. Yes, you must have Zack Baun. Yes, you must have Cooper DeJean and Quinyon and Reed Blankenship on the back end, quarterbacking the defense in the defensive back room, right? But it all goes null and void if you can't stop the run and make a team one-dimensional. Because Vic Fangio's defense, as excellent as it is, as smart of a coordinator as he is, it's predicated on trading yardage for points and trading big plays for a lot of long drives. The theory behind his defense, as much as it was shut down last season, in theory, though, if I take a quarterback and I take a team and I make them drive the entirety of the football field, you need to be sure that your quarterback, your players will not make a damn mistake, whether it's dropping a pass, running the wrong route, making the wrong read, an incomplete pass, missing a blocking assignment. And Vic Fangio's saying, with the talent that I have, I will take my chance with letting you try to chop up the field and making sure that you play perfect football. That's what makes Vic Fangio's defense such a hard time to go up against for offensive coordinators in the NFL. Offensive coordinators want big chunk plays. They want offensive drives to last 5, 6, 7 plays, get there 2.5 minutes, and score touchdowns. That's what you want. The last thing an offensive coordinator wants, in some instances, or at least most majority of the time, is a 14-play drive that ends up leaving with 3 points. That is not what an offensive coordinator wants. That's not what a head coach who's on the offensive side of the ball wants. And that's what Vic Fangio's defense makes you do. It makes you drive up the field. They play stout in the red zone, and then you only come away with 3 points. Again, that only works when you have the personnel. And Jordan Davis, when he's on the field, makes that sort of line of thinking possible. Because he makes the opposing offensive coordinator and offensive line and the running, it makes the opposing offense one-dimensional. When you could stop the run in the NFL, again, I've said this before in past shows, in past episodes, and it's a philosophy in the NFL. Again, ask anybody, listen to anybody. You will hear this, and it's a cliche in the NFL. Run the ball, stop the run, don't turn the ball over, play good defense. Again, you do those 4 things, you are going to win and win a lot in the National Football League. And Jordan Davis, number 90 for the Philadelphia Eagles, is directly correlated with us being able to stop the run. It's the only way this Philadelphia defense was able to work last season. And when he stops the run, when this team stops the run, it means the opposing offense is in 3rd and long, and that means Jordan Davis is off the field. That's what that means. If Jordan Davis is playing football for the Philadelphia Eagles and he's taking 65, 70, 75, 80% of snaps on defense, you have a big problem. It means you are not able to stop the run for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's why in 2023, we looked at this team and we were saying, damn, this guy's out of shape. This guy's out of whack. Like, why is he playing so bad for such an elite athlete? It's because when you're able to run the ball on this team, you're constantly in 1st and 10, 1st and 10, 2nd and 6, 2nd and 4, 1st and 10. You know, you have to have Jordan Davis on the field at that point because he's your best run player. You're not going to sit out there and put Moro Ojomo and Jalen Carter's a freak, but you're not going to put Moro Ojomo and Marlon Tuatalupu out there to stop the run. That's not what you're going to go ahead and do. You're going to put number 90 out there. You're going to put Jordan Davis out there to play the run. Because you need him to be able to be stout in that spot. And when he's not, you got a bad defense. But when he plays excellent, and he's only on the field for 48, 45, 50% of the snaps, you are operating in a gold mine. And it's why Philadelphia must sign this player and do so in a hurry. Because once he's locked up, and you have him for the next 3 to 4 years, now you could shift your priorities to where they need to go. Whether it's addressing safety and cornerback or edge in the draft, whether it is making that contract for Jalen Carter happen, finding a trade partner for Dallas, right? Like, all of this is predicated on being able to figure out what you do with Jordan Davis. I believe Philadelphia must get him signed. And again, maybe they don't get him signed by draft and they end up taking a player like, the defensive tackle out of Ole Miss. His name slips my mind. I apologize for that. But again, another physical athlete who could play the run, play nose, and be able to have that potential for the next 5 years, right? And again, Jordan Davis, he's not going to cost you $26 million like Milton Williams did. He may run you $10 to $14 million a year. And if I'm Philadelphia and I look at that and I say, hey, I get Jordan Davis for the next 3 to 4 years, being an elite run defender, because that's what he is, an elite run defender at $10 to $14 million with the potential of being able to get after the quarterback in time, I think I'll take that bet. And I think Philadelphia is really trying to find a nice balance to be able to take that bet. Because without Jordan Davis, you have no shot. You have no shot at being a top defense for this upcoming season if you're Philadelphia. Jordan Davis is a must. Jalen Carter is a must. Zack Baun's a must. Jordan Davis is key to the success of the Philadelphia Eagles. And it's why you must sign him ASAP.
Hey. Thank you so much for watching the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. If you want to continue to support the channel, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Riding the Bench Eagles Pod. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it, we're on there. Thank you so much for listening, and please join us next time here at the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast.